Hello.
I'm Oliver the Ricketts.
I'm Brittany.
I know the name of this movie. We're going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man 2, or
Just Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Welcome to the Ants.
Right.
I'm really excited.
I know.
So I really liked the first Ant-Man, but I 100% see why a lot of people don't.
I didn't dislike it. On the other side, I only just recently saw it. Right. And we watched it in 2 parts because I fell asleep the first time. It's not my favorite, especially on the list of Marvel movies.
Marvel's having a great fucking year.
Yeah, it's the year of Marvel.
I mean, at this point, they're basically doing victory laps around DC because they have Aquaman coming this September, and that's it. Where's the trailer?
Right.
It's interesting because this is going to be the first time that we have Wasp ever. I hate the girl who plays Wasp.
I like her, Evangeline Lilly. I like her because I loved her in Lost, but she seems so bitchy in this movie.
Yeah, well,
that's the one thing that really put a bad taste in my mouth when I watched Ant-Man, is that she was so bitchy, and she seems bitchy in the trailers too. I hope that she lightens up a little bit.
I hope that there's some kind of explanation as to why he wasn't in Infinity War.
Yes, I am actually waiting to hear why he wasn't in Infinity War, because they gave that little hint in Infinity War, but that was nothing. It was literally a sentence. Really interested, since this is the first Marvel movie since Infinity War, to see how Infinity War is factored into the movie.
Now, I think it takes place before Infinity War.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. I did just see a trailer that was like, oh, the ending will shock you. Which, wouldn't it be cool if they all turned to dust in this one, too?
Ooh.
I'm hoping for less Michael Pena.
Pena?
Yeah, but it looks like we're going to get more Michael Pena. I feel, not that I don't like Michael Pena, I just feel like he's good in very small doses.
I hope that there are more actual, like, fight/action scenes in this movie. I felt like there was a lot of plot in the first one. Yeah. Obviously, it's like an origin story. I get that you have to have it pretty plot-driven because you need to be able to give a backstory to your hero. But I hope in this one we could see a little bit more of the tech, like, playing with the tech, especially with the ghost tech. I think that that's kind of cool. Yeah. So I'm excited to see that stuff.
I'm hoping that this one is a little more solid, because the first one you could kind of tell it's 2 different directors pitching ideas.
Right.
Even though Adam McKay isn't as good as Edgar Wright, I think it'll help him to just be the only guy doing it.
Right. It's not like you're getting... you're not piecemealing, performance together.
Yeah, you're not trying to put together somebody else's baby.
All right, we're going to go see the movie now. We'll see you on the other side for our ride home review. Here we are. Post Ant-Man and the Wasp. Overall, what'd you think of the movie?
That was a goddamn Saturday morning cartoon in the best fucking way.
It was definitely more fun than the first movie. I'll give it that.
It was so lighthearted.
It was more entertaining.
It was so creative with everything they were trying to do. I will say there are pieces of it that don't work.
There's a lot of silliness, and silliness in a fun way, but then like silliness in this doesn't really seem thought through all the way.
Right. But the humor really worked for them this time. There were parts where it, got snagged a little bit. I think some of it fell a little flat, but for the most part, the humor was much better than in the first movie. I agree.
And everybody was generally funny. It wasn't just like relying on Paul Rudd or Michael Pena to be funny.
Right, or
it was kind of like a lot more situational comedy. It doesn't need to be the same tone as all the other Marvel movies. This really serious thing is
happening, but it's happening to these people, and therefore it's funny because that's what's going on.
Right.
I do think that it tripped over its feet a little bit, though. Definitely too many villains.
Way too many. I couldn't even keep track of all the villains at one point in time.
The tone of the whole thing was very much like a G.I. Joe, kind of like, this is something that you would have watched as a kid in a cartoon. This is a cartoon, but not in a way that it doesn't fit with everything else that is going on.
Not in a childish way.
Right.
Like, this is a Marvel movie, but it's definitely more relaxed. It's definitely not so heavy all the time.
Right, which is...
there are personal moments, there are interpersonal moments, there's relationships that you care about, there's things like that in it, but it's not all this heavy, like, the world is gonna end because we don't resolve this movie.
It's just kind of fun. It's a superhero movie,
Yep.
Didn't really care for Ghost. Didn't really care for Lawrence Fishburne either.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like an afterthought to have him in it.
This is definitely a situation where he
They
wanted
definitely
to be in it.
fell into one of these tropes that I do not like, which is when, in order for them to create a sequel, they have to kind of change what happened in the first movie. I don't like it when a movie, in order to create a sequel, has to go back and add in all these things that like didn't really happen in the first movie, but then they're gonna like call it back as a memory and be like, oh yeah, remember when this happened, and then kind of retell the story in the second part and add in all these things that didn't happen. Right. I felt like that this movie did do that a bit, and you'll understand it more when you see it in the beginning, and then like how that whole plot point goes through the rest of the movie.
I think definitely some of the dialogue was a little bit clunky.
Yeah,
a little
some of the acting was even a little clunky.
Positives.
The
action.
Definitely a lot more action in this one. That was what I said I wanted in the pre-Ride Home trailer, Ride Home review, and I agree. I am satisfied in the fact that there was more action, 100%.
Right. Nothing as great as him running into somebody's mouth and punching a tooth out.
Sure.
You know, I definitely like that they're, utilizing the things around them, making the Pez dispenser big, the salt shaker, that's awesome.
Making the car small, then the car big, you know, using that as a tool for fighting. I think that, like I said, I wanted in the pre-review, I wanted more action, I wanted more tech. We definitely got more action, we definitely got more tech.
Michael Pena and the Russian guy, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, and T.I. did not bother me this time. In the first movie, they really, really were annoying, I thought. Michael Pena didn't bother me at all, though. I thought he was actually really funny in this. I bought more his friendship with Scott Lang in this one.
This time.
Michael Douglas.
Oh, okay.
He's just great. I love Michael Douglas. And I love Paul Rudd's relationship with his daughter, too. I thought that
Very
really
cute.
helped me buy the whole thing.
Very good.
It's a B+ movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B, I would suppose. A B's. B's. All right. Spoilers.
Click away, because I'm about 2
He's about
seconds
to
away from...
wreck it. Don't listen. All right?
Holy shit, I called it.
You're yelling.
That's fine.
Even though I feel like if you go into it knowing the end will shock you.
Yeah, that's...
we called it before the movie even happened. As most Marvel fans, I feel like will be able to do.
It's a shock.
It's not really a shock. It is at that point expected, especially since they end the movie and you know that you've got at least 1 or 2 after credit scenes coming. Right. Which is what it was.
The way they did it though was cool. I like that he's small and he doesn't know what's happening.
Right. The only thing I didn't like is when the movie ended, Oliver and I were discussing that the timeline is just a little wonky. Right. Because if you're watching this far, you've seen the movie, or I hope you've seen the movie, you're not just spoiling it for yourself. I did feel like, really? No, okay. But my confusion is, at this point, Scott would know that this stuff was going on and they were calling all the Avengers. I know, we talked about this, I know in Infinity War, he says that, or they say that Scott and Hawkeye Clint aren't going to be in it because, they're going to be with their families. But don't you think it would be a little bit odd that at the same time that this whole Thanos thing is happening, he's just out running these healing energy experiments or missions to get healing energy for ghosts? I just think it's a weird thing to have happening at the same time.
Well, I think this. Only half of the Avengers know who Ant-Man is. And Cap isn't in New York. He's in Wakanda. So he broke his friends out of jail. All the Avengers who know about Ant-Man go into hiding and then only come out to save Vision. From there, shit kind of hits the fan. There's not a lot of time. And, in the time when they could have called Ant-Man, they're thinking, oh, well, he's with his family just like Hawkeye.
Was there no communication between them then? Does Scott have no idea that this is happening?
I think so. There's no way he would have heard about it unless they told him, because it's all going on over there and in outer space.
Not a lot of Ant-Man and the Wasp together.
Well, I was thinking about why it's called that, and I don't think it's called that because he teams up with the Wasp. I think it's called that because it's Ant-Man, which could even mean Hank Pym, looking for the Wasp. It's
they never even officially call Hope or Evangeline Lilly the Wasp.
Right. Wouldn't it have been cool, though, if this movie had come out before Infinity War, but you still had that scene with the snap?
And you had no idea what that meant.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even they don't show you the dust.
Right.
They just, you hear the, and it's, when he's listening on the earphone, right. You hear the little static, and then it's silent. And then the last shot could have been just the walkie-talkie. Mm-hmm. God, I should write these movies.
I do feel a little bad that they did throw that last scene in there with the snap, because now I feel like that's what a lot of people are going to be talking about. Look at how much we've talked about it in just this review. We're not really even talking about the movie because
the movie is good.
The movie is good. The story, I think, is a little...
Right. I loved how streamlined it was. It has to take place within 3 days.
Right.
Because he has to be back for the house, which added so much tension for me, at least. Oh, shit, he's not going to get home. He's not going to get to his daughter. Because, again, the whole movie, you're just worried about this little girl, that he still has to be her dad. And I like that it was a simple story, much lower stakes. Mm-hmm. The only thing is, you're not going to talk about that as much as Infinity War. I really think they threw this out just to kind of hold everybody over. They knew they were going to make the movie.
That's what I'm saying. I think that chronologically, and I think that in their timeline of movies, this really should have... Yeah, this really should have happened, I think, before Infinity War.
This movie's a enthusiastic B+. I definitely will be seeing it again. I think it was awesome.
It's very streamlined. It made sense. There are little things that we were saying before we're nitpicking. Too many villains, a little bit of a weak plot at certain times, things like that. But otherwise, I think it was a very good movie. And I think that these are small things that we're kind of picking on.
Right, of course. And that's, exactly what you want when you walk out on one of these, You don't want big things to talk about. Right. You want nitpicks. That's all that there is really to talk about. This is a really fun movie.
This is another Ride Home review.
I'm going to go home and turn sleepy now.
Yeah, I'm going to turn into a big sleepy giant. I already am one.
Subscribe, trailer breakdowns, sketches, episodic shows, more movie reviews.
More Ride Home reviews. Good night. Thanks for watching Ride Home Reviews.